wonderful Gov class. It is Miss H coming to you from Screencast-O-Matic, I think this is called. Mrs. Hebert actually showed me how to use this, and it is incredible. I'm so thankful to her. She's amazing. And basically, this is how we're going to have our lessons for this upcoming week. I will have a video for you. I will show you exactly what you are looking for, what to click. I'll go through the notes with you, and I think that's so much cooler than just like kind of sending you documents or sending you forms to do and not even explaining anything. I think this is pretty neat. So I hope you really enjoy it. I know I'm going to. Although I'm not going to lie, I am going to miss our conversations. That really truly is what makes the class so great. But with that said, please, please, please feel free to contact me at any time with any questions, comments, concerns right here, and Hanovich@shifsta.org. And let's get to it. All right, so here is my e-board. I hope you made it here okay. It is the hub for everything you are going to need for this week. And basically what's going to happen is you are going to please, please, please make sure you are on my Google Classroom. I'm using this code here. You're going to please make sure you sign up for Remind as well in case there's any major announcements or I change something in the schedule, what have you. That way you're all up to date. And what you will do is you are always going to scroll down to the day and follow these instructions. Now, my goal is to have all 5 days up by the beginning of the week, either Monday morning or maybe even Monday night. That way you can pace yourself. If you can do more work in one day, go for it. If not, just make sure you keep on track. And it's very simple. I'm trying to stay as organized as possible. Just follow the instructions. So the first one is to please watch basically this video. I'll put the YouTube link up here. But since you're listening to me right now, that means you did an amazing job and we can check off number 1. All right, number 2. Now, you are going to be filling out notes as you watch on my PowerPoint. And there are 2 ways you can do this. If you are a Google Docs kind of person, you can just click here. And you're going to be prompted to make a copy, and we're going to make a copy. And we're going to wait for that to load. Here it is. And here is the copy. You can add it right up here to your, oh, I'm sorry, it should be already added to your Google Drive, and you can move it into appropriate folder if you want. And then as we go on, you are going to be able to, take notes as we look at the PowerPoint together. Or if you're not a Google person, you can scroll all the way down and you're going to open everything that says Monday, which right now is just 2 things, but here are the notes and here are the slides. So we can open both if you want. While that downloads, we are going to scroll back up to my Monday. And by the time I scrolled up, the notes for Monday are done. So we'll open it here and look, here it is on a Word document. Maybe you prefer Word. Maybe you want to print this out and write on it. All up to you. That's the beauty of this kind of teaching. You can now take more of the experience in your hands and really just do whatever you would like. Also, we will have the PowerPoint for you as well. Now, the key thing we also have to do in terms of the, as well as the notes and the PowerPoint, is you must open up the Google Forms assignment. Okay, let's open this up. Sorry for that little mini cut there. There it is. Okay, now, obviously, it's going to be hard for you guys to do a weekly do now since you don't have the worksheets at home with you. So instead, we're going to do it in Google Form format. Oof. So here's your do now. So we can start off by filling out a name. Here we go. Miss H. I'm going to try to go easy on the typing because I know that noise could be annoying. And here's your little section for the do now. So what is the IO for today's lesson? And make a prediction. Which branch do you feel has more power, executive or legislative, and why? Just a prediction. Obviously, you don't know yet because we didn't do legislative. So I'm going to have this up. I'll have my notes up. And I'm going to now pull up the PowerPoint. Oops, I must have exited out. Here we go. There it is. Okay. So we now know the IO is what is the legislative branch. I can copy paste it or you can just retype it, whatever you would like. And for prediction, it's just your do now. So you'll just kind of write it there. Now I'm going to click next. And here's my exit ticket. So I'm going to stop there and I'm going to go back to the PowerPoint. I'm going to put this full screen, and now I'm going to, just like if I was in class, go over this PowerPoint with you while you take notes. So pause the video here if you have to, and make sure you have all your windows open that you need, or if you printed it out, make sure you have pen, pencil, and let's get going. All right, so let's talk about it. You have no homework yet. It's coming. Spoiler alert, or maybe just instead a little hint, it's something that you have due a lot on Fridays. Just letting you know. If you did not hand me, or I'm sorry, if you did not hand in your cabinet project yet, don't forget about that. I am obviously still taking it. And I will get those grades back to you also this week, so that's pretty exciting. And let's get going. So we have talked about the executive branch already. But now we're going back to the legislative branch, or Article 1 of the Constitution. And basically, this article establishes the branch as a bicameral legislature. Ooh, you might hear that word quite a bit, or I'm sorry, that phrase quite a bit. It basically, bicameral means it's like two houses, right? You have a House of Representatives and a Senate. So it's like a two-part system. And there is a total number of 535 members of Congress, and basically their main responsibility is to make the laws for the country. So now we know for sure that legislative branch is responsible for making the laws, while executive branch is responsible for enforcing the laws. So again, I always think legislative L, laws L, they make the laws, and then executive E, enforce E. I don't know, a little something I use. All right, so let's go through. These are our current stats. So, all right, so we have 100 representatives in the Senate, 100 senators, which makes sense because we have 2 per state, which means, you guessed it, we have 50 states. So since we have 50 states, we're going to have 100 senators. Makes sense. In terms of representatives, that's a bit more tricky. That all depends on certain districting, and that number can change. But 435 is, about the number you'll see. It's always going to be much higher than the Senate. You should remember this, I hope, from last year's US class. But again, we're going to go over it a little bit more in a bit. Before we get too sidetracked, let's keep going through this chart. Now, again, 2 senators per state. Look at that, we knew it. And population of state with a minimum of 1 per state in terms of House of Reps. Now, how long are each of these representatives in office for? Well, for the Senate, it's 6 years, a long time. And for the House of Reps, it's 2, a big difference. In terms of citizenship, if you are looking to be a senator, you need a minimum of 9 years, while if you're looking to be in the House of Reps, you're looking at 7. Your minimum age is going to be 30 years for the Senate and 25 for the House of Representatives. For the Senate, you must live in the state that you represent. Same thing for House of Representatives. And finally, your presiding officers. Now, basically, these are like the head honchos in each. We talked about this the last lesson when we talked about the responsibilities of the vice president. And we've also certainly talked a lot about the Speaker of the House in terms of presidential succession. So all of this should be somewhat familiar to you. Again, if you have any questions, please email me. And if at any point you feel like I'm going too fast, don't forget, you can stop this video, rewind the video, pause the video, whatever you have to do. It's pretty cool, I'm not going to lie. All right, moving on. Here are all of the powers of Congress, and there's quite a bit. They can do our very favorite thing we know and love, collect taxes. Oof. They can also establish post offices, regulate trade, make rules for citizenship, coin money, and set standards for weight and measures. And you might say, "Ooh, Miss H, that's like a lot." Well, guess what? We have some more. There we go. They can grant copyrights and patents, establish federal courts. We talked about that federal court out in Central Islip before, right? This with the student court trip. They can declare war. We know that goes hand in hand with the executive branch as well. He's considered the commander in chief, but you need Congress to actually declare war. They can raise and support an armed forces, like the military. And basically, they are in charge of making all the laws which are necessary and proper for the country. So these are things you have to consider when asked, are the branches completely equal? Is one more powerful than the other? And you have to explain why. These are all the different powers you need to consider. So what's the difference then between the Senate and the House of Reps? Well, the Senate is considered the upper house. They confirm presidential appointments. We talked about that with the president and his different roles and how he can appoint people and how they will have to go not by like a trial, but basically be questioned by the Senate. It's publicized, very nerve-wracking. They also ratify or they approve treaties with foreign countries. They act as the jury in impeachment trials of federal officials. We just went through a very big current event that you can talk about maybe for an assignment due Friday. And of course, they can also choose the vice president if there is no majority in the Electoral College, which is part of the 12th Amendment. The lower house, which is the House of Reps, introduces revenue bills, chooses the Speaker of the House, brings the impeachment charges of federal officials, and chooses the president if there is no majority in the Electoral College. 12th Amendment again. This is something that we will definitely talk about more in the future, especially with current events, so keep that in mind, please. And this is something you can examine for yourself. Now, in a perfect world where we were not living in this situation, you would be able to actually go to see like what was happening live on the House and at the Senate. Unfortunately, we are not able to do that because they are their session has ceased because of the pandemic. But you can actually go back and you can look up different topics. You can look up past videos, which is what I'm actually going to have you do for your exit ticket. But if you do look up past videos, I saw for education maybe. Here you go. You can actually look through and see what is happening live, which is really, really a cool concept. Ooh, so some Yahoo headlines there. All right, so keep that link in mind because we are now going to go back to our exit ticket. Let's go here. You are going to go to that website. You are going to tell me which do you find easier to navigate. So when we clicked this, you have the two. You have the government, the House of Representatives.gov website, and the Senate floor website. Click each and explore and tell me which you think is easier to navigate, and why. You are then going to go and choose one of those topics that I showed you. So I had picked education from here. You're going to pick a video. Tell me the title of the video. And in about 2 to 3 sentences, summarize it for me. And that will be your exit ticket. And that is your whole lesson all done for Monday. Awesome, guys. I'm so excited for this. Again, if you have any questions, please, please, please be sure to email me. All right. And we'll make sure we get all this done and we'll get good grades. And that's it. I have 1 minute left. So let me go and I will talk to you all tomorrow. Have a good one. Bye, guys.